think New Year's resolutions should be banished. If I can convince you of anything as you're listening, it's to let go of any pressure you may feel to pick a resolution heading into 2024. Does that make you feel lighter, or does it make you squirm a bit? Keep listening to hear what I encourage you to consider instead, and to find out where on the calendar I think resolutions belong. I'm Karli Newman, and you're listening to Flipside of Midlife, a podcast for women in midlife and beyond who want to feel happy, healthy, and fulfilled. My passion is to help you explore this transformational time of life, prioritize your wants and needs, and make these years your best years. It forms the heart of my business, 823 Group Arizona, and it's why I show up here to dig into hot topics you care about. In the heart of my midlife journey, I found myself at a crossroads. I was happy in my professional and personal life, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. I felt restless, but I did not know why. It took me years to get to the other side of those feelings, but now I'm right where I'm supposed to be, connecting with other women in midlife and beyond. I don't want you to spend years figuring it out on your own like I did, and that's why I'm a wellness and life coach. Start now, my friend. Let go of what drags you down, discover what lifts you up, and live life like you mean it. This podcast is only one place where I share my thoughts, tips, and inspiration to help you live well in midlife and beyond. I invite you to join my email list at 823groupaz.com or at the link in the show notes or transcript to get more of my content in your inbox each week. I've been talking about it for a few years now, but I think resolutions are a really big ask at the beginning of a year. The last month of the year is notorious for leaving us feeling tired from an irregular sleep schedule, sluggish from eating and drinking outside of our normal routine, and emotionally out of whack for a multitude of reasons. It's not the best physical or mental state from which to make promises of change to yourself, my friend, especially the big change that tends to get wrapped into New Year's resolutions. I recently read an article on Forbes Health with data from 1,000 U.S. adults surveyed in October 2023 about 2024 New Year's resolutions. Here are a few of the results that jumped out at me. 1. Women feel more pressured than men to set New Year's resolutions. 2. Women are more likely to set a resolution around improved fitness than men. And 3. Over half of the respondents expect their resolutions to last 3 months or less. These survey results tell me that my dislike of New Year's resolutions is well-founded. I encourage you to consider a few alternatives for 2024. Grab your notebook, journal, or favorite app, my friend, and get ready to take some notes. If now isn't a good time for you, don't worry. Listen through so you know what to expect, and I'll drop the time marker in the show notes and transcript so you can get right back here at a better time. I suggest 4 options that take advantage of the fresh start feeling a new calendar year provides. 1. Choose a word of the year. 2. Choose an intention for the year. 3. Write a bucket list for the year. And 4. Write a letter to the future you. Let's look at each of these in more detail. Choose a word of the year to act as an undercurrent for your life in 2024. Referencing the results from the Forbes Health survey, I'll use improved fitness as inspiration here. If this is a desire of yours, some words you may want to consider are active, movement, strong, balance, vitality, adventure, or flow. The key is to choose a word that resonates with you and inspires positive behaviors that support your desire. You may even choose to make up a word. It doesn't matter if anyone else understands your word of the year. It's for you. If an intention for the year sounds interesting, think of it as an affirmation rather than a goal. If you intend to boost your social wellness in 2024, here are a few examples to inspire you. I seek out new experiences where I meet interesting people. I notice when opportunities for connection and friendship arise. I plan monthly social engagements to foster my friendships. The idea here is to take a desired change and write a positive affirmation to keep it top of mind. Feel like you want to write a few affirmations to support your desired change? Or maybe write a new affirmation supporting your intention every month or quarter? Go ahead. Again, this is for you. There are no outside rules that apply to any of this. It's your rules only. Prefer to write a bucket list for 2024? Amazing! The one piece of cautionary advice I have for you here is to keep it on the shorter side. A list with fewer bucket items is more likely to feel good as the year passes. If you find it challenging to keep your list small, consider a master bucket list where you write down all the things that you'd love to experience in 2024. Then prioritize the top 7, or any number you choose, and get to planning how you will cross them off. Experience an endorphin boost as you check an item off your list. If you complete the list before the year ends, good for you. Add a few more from your master bucket list. And if you don't get to all of them in 2024, guess what? You have a good start for your 2025 list. Have fun and tap into your creativity with these first 3 options. Find places to display your word of the year intention or bucket list. Keep them front and center to embody the spirit in which you created them and enjoy the results as you experience them. Be flexible and use these as guides for your year. Remember, you know you better than anyone else. Do what works for you. If you're not sure what that is yet, that's a beautiful thing too. Tap into your curiosity. Be open to trying new things. Use resources to inspire you. Ask what others do, but don't get too wrapped up in how everyone else does it. Use what you like and feels right for you. Let go of the rest. Now let's walk through writing a letter to your future self. This option allows you to think about and record where you are and where you want to go in the next year. Write your letter to the version of you that lands in December 2024. On a side note here, if you happen to write a letter like this in 2022, be sure to read it before you start your new letter. Here are 3 steps for your letter writing. Number 1, start by telling future you how you feel at the end of 2023. What were the highlights and the lowlights of this year? Step 2, now tell your future you what your dreams and hopes are for 2024. What experiences would you like to have? What change would you like to create? What would help you feel happier, healthier, and more fulfilled in 2024? And 3, end by telling future you where you hope she is as she reads this letter. Literally and figuratively, what do you hope she has experienced? How do you hope she is feeling? A letter like this helps you reflect, dream, and visualize from a kind and caring perspective. It gets you thinking about your wants and needs and sparks forward movement. Whether that be on your current path or in a different direction, your letter helps your subconscious bubble things up to the surface. And don't force yourself to write this letter in one sitting. Create the space and time you need to feel complete in each of the steps. When you are done, tuck your letter away to be read next December when you start this process for 2025. You may want to write this letter and then use one of the other options I mentioned earlier to help you move from where you are now to where you want to be at the end of 2024. You get the theme here, my friend. Do what feels right and works for you. All right, let's recap. The last 6 weeks of the year are some of the most stressful, and it's not the most optimal time to make big promises of change to yourself. Rather than setting New Year's resolutions, I encourage you to choose a word or intention for the year, or write a bucket list or a letter to a future you. Maybe you'll want to use a combination of a few or even all 4 of these. As I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I am not a fan of New Year's resolutions, but I am a fan of mid-year resolutions. June and July usually feel more relaxed than December and January. Our calendars tend to have more white space then too. Both are factors that allow time and space to reflect, dream, and thoughtfully set mid-year resolutions, also known as SMART goals, for ourselves. But that's a topic for a future episode. As I wrap this episode, I send you wishes for a 2024 filled with all you want and need to live the happiest, healthiest, and most fulfilling year yet. You deserve it. Thanks for listening to Flipside of Midlife. I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts about today's episode or anything else related to midlife and beyond? Send me an email at karli@823groupaz.com, or if you're listening on Spotify, use your mobile app to respond to my Q&A and poll questions. Wherever you listen, please follow, subscribe, rate, or write a review, and tell your girlfriends to listen too. It helps other women in midlife and beyond find this podcast and get inspired to make these years their best years.